I learned that my mum is cheating on my dad. What should I do? So my 21 female, mum, 43 female, is an accountant, and my dad, 44 male, owns a small business. They've been married for 22 years. Last weekend, one of my friends told me that my mum and some guy checked into a hotel that he worked in. My mum was supposed to be at a company seminar in a different city. My friend sent me their pictures, and I looked around in her socials. Sure enough, I found him on LinkedIn. He's her co-worker. I accessed her Google Photos account, as she has her passwords written near her computer, and there were photos of them at various places when she was supposed to be at company events and stuff, going back to 2 years. What should I do now? And now in the comments, talk to your dad. Tell him what your friend said and show the pics. Don't give your mum a chance to delete the evidence and gaslight your dad by going to her first. Adding, there's a small chance your dad may know or even condone it. Let him know and then let them sort it out. There might be, although what is the elaborate cover story by the mum for their 21-year-old daughter? You would just say nothing and not pretend to your family that you're going to another place for an event. Well, it's not elaborate. It's the safest explanation. If you want to keep something private, it's better to have a mundane story about it for your children and extended family, social circle, town, etc. Hey dad, where's mum this weekend? Work conference. Okay. Age as well. Is universally reusable and goes over better than where is mom? It's a mystery. Huh? Adult offspring. Hey dad, where's mom? Dad. She's away this weekend. Oh, where? Look kid, your mother and I love each other very much, and sometimes other people do too. Are you gonna eat that last slice of bacon? What the fuck? Just tell dad and share everything you have/know, and then back off. They'll handle the relationship from there. People are saying talk to your mum, but let's be real. She's lied this long, she'll lie more, or minimize her behaviors and actions. Tell Pops and let him sort it out. Rough position to be in. One thing I want to say here is that OP needs to be ready for the fallout. Far too often this sub says, tell on them, but never ever mentions or prepares the OP for the fallout and destruction. I have seen many update posts of OP saying how telling has destroyed their family and that no one prepared them for it. Then the comments are just filled with, you did the right thing. Let's be honest, sometimes doing the right thing is very difficult and will have hard consequences. OP needs to prepare for having their whole life and family blown up. Emotionally, financially, mentally, literally, just kidding. Everything can drastically change here. That is not caught in these comments of just tell your dad. So the alternative is to not tell dad in order to avoid everything? Yes, because she's their child, not the avenging angel of cheating. The friend could easily send this anonymously to the father with an explanation of knowing their kid and seeing them at the hotel and confirming through socials that it was the mother who was cheating. Blowing up your relationship with a parent is a lot to do. For a woman to not have a close relationship with her mother as she ages, it could be much more painful and isolating than anyone here is even considering, especially since most parents don't seem to realize that their kids should not be pushed to pick a side. Parents are not married to the kids, they are married to each other. Well then what about the dad? He could find someone who actually wants to be with him. He deserves better no matter what the fallout. She is in her 20s. She isn't a little kid who is made to spend every second weekend with her dad. Tell your dad, then both of your parents can decide what to do. And now onto the update. After I made that post, I went to my dad and told him about my mum and showed him the pictures before she came home from her job. Dad just sat at the dining room table and didn't say anything. My mum came home, saw us, and asked us what was wrong. Dad asked her if she was seeing someone. Mum started sobbing and Dad did too. There were no words after that. There was no fighting or screaming. We had dinner in silence, and they went up to their room. The next morning, they told me that they were getting a divorce and that my mum will move out in a few days. I guess I knew this was coming. Over the last 5 or so years, their marriage has deteriorated. They were still a good couple. They had conversations, joked with each other, and liked each other, but the overt affection has reduced to the occasional hug. Their social lives separated too. They don't go out together, and I don't think they have any friends in common anymore. They were still great parents. They never fought, always paid attention to me, attended school events, and played active roles in my life. They told me that their love for me hasn't changed, and that they'll always be there for me. I want to feel angry at my mum, but I can't. She was always a great mother. I feel extremely sad though. I thank all the Redditors who gave advice on the previous post. And now in the comments, that's tough, OP, but this gives your father a chance to start over. You did the right thing. Yeah, hopefully their father and them can be there for each other in a way their mum wasn't for them. I didn't see or read the original post, but I don't think this implies that his mum wasn't there for her. She just wasn't there for her husband. Cheating on your spouse makes it so you are not there for your children also. Therefore, the cheating hurts the spouse and makes them not be as good as a parent as they can be. The time someone is cheating on their spouse is time they could be spending with their family. The emotional energy put towards the affair is taken away from her family. Don't force yourself to feel anything for either of your parents. From what it sounds like, they are good to you, and that's the best thing. They are just not good for each other. You just need to be careful not to get in the middle of whatever comes next, to not be a go-between, etc. And it may be a good idea to consider counseling in case any anger issues do arise. You may get angry down the line, and that's alright too. Yup, this. Both of the parents are in shock right now. The real reactions and emotions will come later, once they are in a court of divorce. My mum cheated on my dad, and although I wasn't the one who found out, I do feel your pain. At the time, I found it very difficult to blame my mum because she was still my parent. As I've grown up, I now realize that the extent of her actions screwed me up and am very angry with her, but since it's been so long, I'd suggest therapy. I really wish my parents had gone to the effort of making sure I was okay afterwards. Don't let your parents make the same mistake. I'm sad for you too. Be with your feelings and stay with not taking sides. You are on your side and will be there for your parents as they separate as amicably as possible. I hope they both move on and find happiness. From your post, they may even be able to maintain a cautious friendship, which will be great for life events in the future, like your wedding and co-grandparenting. Our next post is titled, Am I the Arsehole for replying to a coworker's inappropriate texts by work email and attaching them? So one of my coworkers, who I had thought was friendly, but that was it, he is married, sent me some inappropriate texts at like 3 AM on St. Patrick's Day weekend, asking me to come over and have some fun, and saying that he had been into me for a while and knew I felt the same. I don't. I'm a lesbian, but I'm not out at work. He also sent me a naked selfie that, luckily, cut right off before his dick, but dang, it was close. When I saw them, I was out with friends and was like, what the? Okay, this is a Monday problem. I have a really strict rule with myself that I don't do work, think about work, or answer messages about work outside of 9 to 5 Monday to Friday. I also don't use my personal phone for work stuff. If someone from work calls or texts, and it's not one of the co-workers I see as a close friend and trust not to talk shop on the weekends, I am not answering. And I included dealing with this effer as a workday problem, so I ignored his message. He sent me several later, first saying sorry he was drunk, then saying he hadn't said it how he wanted to, but he was still into me and had a feeling that I felt the same. On Monday, I wrote an email on the work email saying, Hi, co-worker. I'm writing to follow up on your messages from the prior several days. See attached. Please only contact me through work channels during regular business hours. I do not use my personal number with colleagues. Additionally, I found the content of your messages unwelcome and inappropriate. Please only contact me regarding work, OP. I didn't send the email to HR, but I did blind CC my personal email so I'd have a copy just in case. And he got really mad. He texted me back saying I had crossed a line attaching his picture to a work email. Was I trying to get him fired? I screenshot that text too and attached it to an additional email saying, as per my prior email, please only contact me about work matters and only on my business email or Slack. He stopped texting me, but he came to my desk to speak to me, and before he said anything I asked, "Is this a work question?" And he said I knew what it was about, and I said that I wasn't available for a discussion at the moment. If he did need to meet with me for a work matter, could he please schedule a meeting on the calendar and include a read-ahead to brief me on the topic of the meeting? He walked off. I feel like I was a bit of a cow when dealing with it, when maybe I could have told him to cut it out by text. But I'm also effing sick of dealing with this crap at every job. And I feel like my patience to use my own time and energy to gently ask guys to cool it is worn thin. And I want to set the precedent that I won't engage at all outside of work hours or work accounts. Am I the asshole for sending that email? Now in the comments, go to HR immediately, not the asshole. OP says, I was thinking I wait to see if he would chill, but honestly, with him coming by to bother me in person, that's not a bad idea. You gave this man so many chances that he did not deserve, and he continues to cross lines. Do not let him continue to harass you. Right? My mans is trying his hardest to get that call from HR. Not only are you not the asshole, but I feel like you should be paid for the perfect guide to dealing with inappropriate workplace behavior that you just posted. Brava. Edit to add, if what you did does not solve the problem, the emails are perfect for a review with HR. Not the asshole. May I congratulate you on being a strong woman who did not shy from the topic and put this asshole in his place. I wish I had the guts to do this myself. You handled it, and you handled it well. I'm gonna take a leaf from your book in the future. You did everything right, every single thing. You cannot do anything without a paper trail, and you made it and kept it professional. I love this. You're amazing, so not the asshole. Also, the longer you wait, the less HR can do. Go now before they can say, well, it happened 2 weeks ago. Can't do anything about it. Not the asshole, that was the perfect response. He got pissy because you wouldn't play his game and documented everything without getting freaked out. Okay, so he sexually harassed you, then he apologized but sexually harassed you again, then he got angry when you replied to him in a professional manner, then he tried to intimidate you at your desk. He's about to get himself fired, and the whole company will have to go through sexual harassment training again. Not the asshole. Edit to add, it looks like the nice guy brigade has found this post. Oh god. And now on to the updates. Looks like the overwhelming majority of y'all think I need to go to HR to get ahead of this. I was considering holding off to see if he calls it himself, but the way he came to my desk after being told off twice makes me think that's probably not the best idea. I'm gonna forward the emails to HR, write up the conversation we had at my desk, and ask them to meet with me to discuss. Edit 2, I sent an email to HR this afternoon, and they called a meeting with me the same day. I told them everything, though there wasn't a lot to say that wasn't already captured in the emails, and they assured me that I wouldn't have any more contact with him at work. They are going to meet with him tomorrow. It's still not decided if he will be fired or not, or if he will be moved to a different position where he won't have any reason to speak to me. I have a feeling it might depend on how he handles the conversation with them. I do feel good about emailing HR. I feel like, along with myself, I've possibly helped out other women by starting that paper trail if it turns out to be something he's done more than once. Edit 3, holy crap, I went out to happy hour with a few of my female friends in my field to vent, and one of my friends told me she'd met this same guy at a professional conference, given him her business card with her phone number, and he sent her a nasty pic too. She just replied saying that that was inappropriate and she had a husband, and he said something about her husband not having to know. So he had her husband call him and leave a voicemail telling him to F off, and then she never heard from him again. I asked her if she'd be okay sending screenshots of the text exchange to my HR contact. She was, and she even wrote that she met him at a professional conference where he was representing the company. She gave him a business card for networking reasons, and he sent her an unsolicited lewd picture. and that she needed her husband to intervene to stop the harassment. I haven't checked my email again, I'm trying to leave at work and not dwell on this anymore tonight, but it seems like HR will have even more to go off before meeting with him. Edit 4, he was fired. I don't know a lot of the details. I have a follow-up meeting with HR soon, but my co-workers told me he was escorted out of the building this morning. One of my co-workers who sits near the HR office said they heard him screaming at the HR staff during his meeting this morning. It's crazy how stuff escalated, honestly. Just last week I thought he was a chill guy. I owe a thank you to everyone who told me to report this too. I'd been on the fence at first, but I feel like this stuff was going to escalate either way, and I feel a lot safer not having to see him every day at work. Now in the comments, that dude has a wife, and I feel bad for her. Her husband is always cheating or trying to cheat on her. Someone should tell her so she can leave the loser. And I'm glad he got fired. He got what he deserved. He'll probably say he got fired for another reason. I had a friend whose boyfriend quit/got fired from his college coaching job because it was rumored he was with a female teammate. The job gave him the option to quit before firing him. I don't know why, but the girlfriend said that it was a rumor and a lie, and even the girl denied the rumors. I tried to tell her, yeah, if a coach I liked was about to get fired for messing with me, I would lie too to keep him around. But she didn't listen. They are married now, and we are no longer friends. He was also seeing his sister-in-law's best friend, and chose my friend over the other girl. A lot of places do that offer, mainly for legal purposes. They might fire someone, and they can try to sue for XYZ reasons. Depending on the situation, it might hurt them professionally. So they'll give an option to quit so it doesn't affect them professionally and both sides can move on with less paperwork. My favorite line is always, "I know you feel the same about me." No, you do not. It's just manipulation. Oh no, he seems to genuinely think I want this invitation. I must have done something to give him that impression. I'd better not reject him too harshly or report him to HR, because this situation must be partly my fault. And poor guy made an honest mistake. That's probably the reaction he wants. Our next post is titled, "Being Sued for Helping a Choking Victim." So I was eating at a diner with some friends at 3 a.m. The guy in the booth next to us started coughing and gagging. I realized he was choking and wanted to help him. I had Heimlich training at my place of work. I'm office safety manager for my floor. The guy managed to get the thing out, and it flew across the booth. He looked really pissed, paid his bill, and left. I felt like a little hero the rest of the dinner, and then just kind of forgot about it. This was 2 weeks ago. Then I got a letter from a law firm that I'm getting sued for battery. They said I bruised a rib. I have no clue how this guy figured out who I am. I thought I helped the guy, seeing as he probably would have choked without help. How did he figure out who I am? I never actually spoke to him. Is this a real letter? Do I need a lawyer for this? And edit, the language I used to describe him choking was wrong. He was choking, gagging sounds, but otherwise silent and obviously distressing. Now in the comments, almost sounds like a scam to me. I would call the law firm, as others have mentioned. Did they request money in the initial letter? Yeah, it is almost like something from a 1940s movie. Some guy going restaurant to restaurant doing this. Call the law firm and confirm the authenticity of the letter. And do you need a lawyer for this? Yes. If you actually get officially served, you'll need to respond as well. Until then, do nothing. Your attorney will guide you through the process. I would think, though, that you'd be covered under the Good Samaritan laws if applicable in your state. Not a lawyer, but is that even standard procedure? To send a letter announcing your intent? Why not just sue and let the service be the notification? Maybe because they're hoping OP will panic and try to settle? Yeah, it's called a demand letter. It basically says, I have damages, I believe that you're at fault, fix it or we are going to court. However, it isn't uncommon for people to send fake demand letters, so contacting the firm by the info on the website is always a first step. They will either confirm the letter or ask what you're talking about. Yeah, because lots of suckers don't understand the difference between a demand letter and being served with a lawsuit. People get afraid and pay the money without realizing that anyone can send a demand letter for anything, and it doesn't mean they have any legal merit. And now on to the update. Well, I took y'all's advice and went back to the restaurant. I spent about an hour and a half waiting and then speaking with the shift manager who called the general manager who called the owner, and they swore up and down that no one had come to ask for a tape or anything of the sort. Then I started looking for defense attorneys, but I wasn't sure exactly how to proceed. Honestly, this week I've been mortified and really on edge. Finally, when I told my friends about everything, one of them fessed up to the fact that it was actually them, and they made it up as some kind of prank. Pretty twisted joke. I wasn't laughing. I'm pretty pissed and seriously reconsidering my relationship with him. I appreciate everyone's support, excluding the people who made fun of my mother's death or tried to figure out where I lived. Now in the comments, man, what a shitty thing for the friend to do. Some people have a very mean idea of what a prank is. Where the F do people like his friends even come from? Like, where does this prank even get thought of? Only to be capped off by the ridiculousness of actually doing it? If there's one thing this sub gives me, it's an appreciation for the normal people in my life. Exactly. I don't know if I'm just not creative or not cruel enough to do this to someone. Pranks are so weird to me. Most states have laws to protect people from being sued for injuries while providing emergency aid. This is because when CPR or abdominal thrusts and other common forms of aid are performed correctly, they usually cause some damage. A cracked rib is acceptable if the CPR that gave it to you saved your life. I could be misremembering. My wife was trained for first aid, not me, but I believe they say you are not doing CPR enough if you're not cracking or breaking ribs. I've resuscitated someone outside of work, and it was just terrible. I had nightmares, I cried for several days, I was terribly stressed out, and the person ended up being fine, and they and their family were very grateful. I'm a nurse, and I've done it at work without incident, but for some reason, it was so much more immediate and terrifying when I wasn't at work, and wasn't expecting it. I cannot imagine how awful OP felt. There is no excuse for this. It isn't a joke. They were looking for defense attorneys, like, can you even imagine? This post made me really upset. I hope OP is okay.